Have you ever wondered why some collectors find the best deals or always sell at the correct or the right moment? There's one game-changing tip that separates smart collectors, from the rest. And once I figured it out, and once we figured it out here at Sports Card Hustlers, it completely transformed, I guess, how I approach the hobby. And when I'm looking at all this stuff, I looked at one thing that really like shot out to me and tried to help me understand why these things were happening and how a card can change value. And that's just explanation and expanded explanation of timing and how timing is very important in the sports card hobby and collecting in general. So did you know the difference between, like, if you look at a card, do you know the difference between like a $50 card and a $500 card? And oftentimes, it's when you buy or when you sell it. And timing is everything. And just like timing with you know, sports cards, we're doing also an insider club, whereas if you want to be part of this insider club, post a comment insider and we'll send you a link. And this club is kind of for everyone, and we're not stealing email addresses or anything like that. You can send your email address in, and we will send you every few weeks an updated version of when things are getting displayed in retail, when they're coming out in hobby, when things are actually just coming out in general. And it's a very important thing because a lot of times you can't find these things online, and it's hard to find these things online. Or when you're finding these things online, you're looking at like 4 different websites, 5 different websites, 10 different websites, and trying to figure out when these things are happening. So we're trying to make it easy for you guys so you can find it easily. So comment insider, we'll send you the link, and bam, you're in. So there you go. Okay. But why is that important? And why is timing important? I mean, timing is so important when you're looking at selling and things like that. I sold a CJ Stroud card over the summertime, and it was like a green variety from the Donruss Optic. And, I sold it, but now, his value has gone up. Look at the value of Jaden Daniels from Washington. Last night, they won big over Detroit, right? And sorry if you're a Detroit fan, they were number one in the league for football, but, his value just by cards, because I've made it purposely. I looked at on Thursday, Wednesday, his card, and I was watching his card and things like that. And now his card has gone up like 25% just in the last day, maybe even 50% in some cases in the last day because of his big win last night. And he was like ridiculous last night. They couldn't even block him. So it was a cool thing just to witness real time. And that's why timing is everything. So like you had the Jaden Daniels card, I know he's in like the new Donruss 2024. It's not the optics yet. The optics didn't come out yet, but the Donruss 2024, there's like a intro to the Donruss Optic, and he is in those boxes. So that might be a good thing to get and try to get his rookie card, just like CJ Stroud was in last year, and Richardson and things like that. So that might be a good thing to get. Donruss Optic is always hot, but come April, that might be a hot sell again because everybody's looking for the Jaden Daniels card, and that could be the big thing this year to get his rookie card if they even make it. If they're going into the Super Bowl. I mean, they made the NFC Championship game, his first year in the league, so that's a big thing right there already. So his value is way up. And if they make the Super Bowl, that's going to be even bigger. So I mean, it's a cool thing to watch in real time, but timing is everything. If I would have got his card 2 years ago, or if or not his card, but like CJ Stroud or whatever it was, that their values change per game almost. So it's very important to look at that. Off season, if you're looking at buying these things, you might be able to find probably not Jaden Daniels, but maybe like a CJ Stroud, because they ended up winning, and you might be able to find because he lost last night. So maybe not he lost, but their team lost. So maybe you can find his card a lower value until the beginning of next season in August or September. So off season is very important to buy things, I think, and that might help you find things on a better deal because it goes by game. If you're looking for things that are, not happening and they haven't happened for a few months, that could be a case. We went to Cooperstown back in the summertime, and that was very important because all the pins, you trade pins there and team pins. So that was big. August, and then Cooperstown kind of died off in September, October, November, and you can find some pretty good deals in November on these pins, whereas they might have been, $10 more, $20 more back in when you were actually in Cooperstown. So it all depends on when you buy things. It's very important. And an example, like imagine snagging like a star quarterback, like I said, in March, because by September the card could bust out and he could be like, ridiculous. So I mean, things like that. Rookie cards kind of vary a lot because, look at CJ Stroud, look at Daniels, look at Brady's rookie card. You can look at all those different rookie cards, or even like in hockey or baseball, whatever that could be. Look at Skeens, right? I can get USA Baseball from 2023 and get Skeens, and that wasn't anything. But now I can get a Skeens card, and it's like ridiculous now. So I mean, timing is everything. It's the most biggest thing when you're trying to. My big tip when I was looking at it is like try to buy things in the off season. That's very important. Track the calendar. Identify quiet periods. Cards could double in the span of a month or a week or whatever that could be. So try to not just go impulsively and just buy things real fast. Go slowly and think about it, and go through eBay. Look at all the sold auctions. Look at 130 Point, all the different kind of websites that kind of can see the variation of how cards change over time, and that could be a big thing to do when you're trying to find cards in the cheap rate, and keep them for your collection. So that's a big thing to do. If you're selling cards, obviously you want to do the opposite. You want to sell cards on the peak moment. Man, if I have AJ Daniels, I keep on calling him Anthony Daniels because it's a C3PO. But if I had Jaden Daniels card, right now, I mean, probably right now is the best time to sell that card and not the best time to buy that card. Maybe you wait a little bit. Maybe you wait to the offseason if you want to buy his rookie card, right? But right now, it's probably not the best time to go in there and go on eBay. I mean, I got to get a card and go buy it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you get a blaster box and try to get it. But, right now, it's probably not the greatest idea to buy his card because, he had a great game last night. He was unstoppable. So, I mean, not unstoppable, but he had a really, really good game. But why does it work? Performance always drives demands. And you might have a breakout game like last night. You might have a playoff run. You might have, a record-setting pace that you're looking at, going for like 500 home runs or 300 home runs. I think Harper's going for 300 home runs this year. So maybe, his card ups in value if he has a pretty good season. So it all depends on timing. It's very important. Again, like I said before, but selling, you want to sell during peak periods. You want to sell. Bryce Harper hit his 300th home run. I think it's 300. Maybe it's 400. I'm not sure. You can tell me in the comments if I'm right or wrong. Who knows, right? But if he hit a certain milestone home run, maybe you sell right there and try to get, his card. If you're looking at selling, I'm not really sell. I'm not into selling cards and things like that. I'm just more into like getting from my collection and, my son's collection eventually, my daughter's collection. But if you're a seller and you want to sell things, make money, get some more blaster boxes or hobby boxes, that's probably the best time to do it is when their value is high because prices skyrocket if like Mahomes has a dramatic playoff win and you can cash in big, right? If the refs are helping or whatever that is, right? But pro tip, what I wrote down is know the cards that you want to sell. Maybe have them graded. I don't really like grading too much. I mean, that's just me because I had waited like 4.5 months for a card to get back to me and paid like $40-something just for one card that was valued over $200. I mean, it kind of changed a lot, but I know they even upped their prices over the last few days too. So it's like I think it's like $20 or $15 just to grade one card now, the bulk cards. So, I mean, I don't know, but I mean, have them listed in advance so maybe you can act fast and then sell them. So it's a very important thing if you're listing these cards, if you're on eBay, if you're on these different places other than TikTok, right? Because TikTok right now, Sunday, it's banned, but maybe tomorrow it will not be banned. We don't really know yet. We're kind of staying in limbo. We know the new administration didn't really, they kind of said they're not going to ban it. So we'll see how that happens. But right now it is banned. But a lot of people do sell things on TikTok. There's a lot of breaking on TikTok, a lot of live things on TikTok. So that might drive the prices up or drive the prices down depending on when you're looking at it. People trying to get rid of their cards. Avoid the hype trap. What I mean by hype trap is, obviously Jaden Daniels right now. I keep on saying his name because it was fresh in my mind, right? But Jaden Daniels right now, dude, I mean, probably hyped up right now, okay? His value probably can't get much higher than that. If he wins the NFC Championship game, obviously it can get higher than that. If you win Super Bowl II, obviously you can get higher than that, right? But you're taking the chance here, we'll see what happens, right? Overpaying, example of rookie cards, new draft classes are overpriced and, their breakout to view is very overhyped. Just how when you play fantasy, the same thing. Like you want to get these rookies, they're like you might get them in the later rounds, and then but it's low risk but high reward. The same things here, but sometimes in sports cards, the values are way up. Like CJ Stroud, he didn't even play a game yet, and I sold his card for $250. So I mean, yeah, he didn't even play a game yet, and obviously he had a pretty good season, so his value went up a little bit. But you never know. So I mean, you take that chance. Zion Williamson, right? His rookie year, they had sky high prices before he even played, and when he came back down, people got burned because when he got when that happened. So I mean, patience is very important. Patience is very important because of the fact that you might be able to find better deals, not as good deals, but you're not. Hopefully, you won't get burned. Just watch it for a little bit. Don't just go in there and impulsively buy because they've had a great game. You'd be like, boom, I had a great game. Michkov scored 5 goals. I got to go in there and buy his car. So I mean, it's like patience is very important. And avoiding the hype trap is very important because overpaying, we don't want to overpay because then when we have a card that's worth $1,000 and then it's worth $10, that don't make us feel too good. So I mean, avoid that trap, avoid the hype trap. Just like I said, going back, selling in peak moments is very important. And then off-season buying opportunities, that is also very important. And the last thing that I wrote down was anticipate market trends. What that means is like the market goes up, the market goes down. Right now, we're trying to figure out whether the market's going up, whether the market's going down because of TikTok and the TikTok ban. A lot of people are losing funds with that, and they're breaking 3, 4, 5 times a day, and now TikTok's banned. So now they're going to other platforms that might necessarily not have the audience that TikTok had. So what's that going to do to the market? Are they going to try to get rid of more cards? Is it going to have more supply, less demand, so the cards then go down? So it's all like economics 101, but like you have to anticipate market trends because looking at that stuff, why does this work? You want to buy before everyone else, right? And look for injuries when you're looking at this stuff, when you're anticipating this stuff, okay? If you might have somebody get injured this year and they don't play this year, obviously their market is way down. So it might be a good time to buy their cards if you want them for your personal collection or if you're trying to flip them. I'm not necessarily into flipping and things like that. Sometimes I do sell cards, but it's just like, me getting money so I can buy another blaster box or buy, some more boxes so we can open with the kids and then add to our collection. Things like that I might think that is necessarily, a good deal and things like that. But, buy before everyone else, looking at like it's a lot of DD, a lot of due diligence, a lot of looking at all your stuff, what's going to happen, what you think may happen, what are some good rookies that haven't really hit the market yet, and you might be able to get them at a pretty good price, and all of a sudden, boom, they're gone. You know what I'm saying? And they're ridiculous. So I mean, it's a lot of knowing the game. It's a lot of knowing baseball, averages and home runs and hits and RBIs and runs and OPS and all that stuff. It's a lot of football, and even baseball WAR, replacements. What's their value? So there's a lot of stuff going on that you have to kind of research if you're really getting into sports cards because there's a lot. Just like if you're going into fantasy, like I said before, you're going into a fantasy draft, you want to research who's number 1, who's number 2, number 3, and understand, so you don't get no junk team when you're drafting and don't look like a fool. So I mean, it's a lot of stuff like that. It's the same thing with fantasy, but you're really dealing with like money now compared to like just fantasy. Sometimes there's fantasy leagues that you do money with obviously, but I mean, but going to fantasy, I mean, fantasy is a good thing to do if you don't do it to learn who's good, to learn who's not really that having a great season, to learn the projections and things like that. So that's a really good tool to do, and that would help you anticipate market trends in the future. If who's getting projected to get how many touchdowns or how many home runs or things like that, you'd be like, oh, okay, this guy's number 1, so maybe I want to kind of lay off him for a little bit and see what he does. And if he doesn't have his projections, maybe I go in there and buy his card because now he's kind of his value's lower. So things like that you got to think about when you're buying cards, not necessarily just going in there and buying it. It's a lot of stuff that you might take in consideration. Predict breakout players. Michkov, a breakout player, and Daniels, CJ Stroud, like all these big positions that breakouts could be a good thing. Goalies, shooters in basketball, breakouts. So like all that stuff, is a very important tool to understand. And I really do think that fantasy does help that and helps know, who are the breakout players going to be, or if a running back gets hurt, who's their backup. You're going to go in there and grab their backup. Maybe you go in there and grab their card. Maybe they show the world something that they don't. That happened a lot of times before. Running backs got hurt, and then the backup was ridiculous. And then, we went and got their card, and then, their card was way up in value compared to when we got it before. So you have to anticipate maybe beginning of season, who's the backup to, whoever, and then you buy their card, and then maybe the person gets hurt, and then now their value skyrocketed. So that's market value right there. Definitely, that's a pretty good tool that we do. So, I mean, you have to follow news. You have to follow analytics. You have to even, like I talked about before, do fantasy. And it's a very important tool to use because, it helps you understand the market and also helps you anticipate all these trends. Let me kind of focus on my face here. Anticipate these trends and all that stuff too. But going back, timing is everything, right? Off season, buy in the off season, sell during the peaks. You avoid the hype trap and anticipate trends in the market, and definitely do fantasy sports because that will help you. I used to be in like 4 Yahoo leagues for baseball, 4 golf leagues, 4 football, 4 basketball, auto racing, and then I would go into like, other like ESPN leagues. I would be in like, 10 different leagues for baseball. And I'm like, okay, I have this pitcher, but he's going against this hitter, and who do I want to do good? It was like crazy, right? But I really knew, I was in hockey as well. I really knew the players in every sport and who was good, who was bad. When I was in fantasy, I wasn't really collecting sports cards. So we got back into fantasy, and that really helps, who are the rookies who are coming out, who are the breakout players. And that really definitely helps out. So if you do play fantasy, you're probably already ahead of the curve. If you don't, it's probably a good idea to do just a free league you can do on Yahoo and do like a free league, ESPN, and you don't even pay any money and just do it like with random people around the world. And that really helps you figure it out. But other than that, that's how I approach the hobby. That's how expanded explanation of things or of timing really helped me out into when I want to buy, when I want to sell, things like that. And hopefully it helped you guys out too. And again, if you're still watching this video after 17 minutes, we appreciate it. And also comment insider to get in that sports card insider group so we can send you guys release dates and all that good stuff and when boxes are coming out and all that stuff because it's so hard to find online. But other than that, we again appreciate you guys watching. And other than that, let us know in the comments what you guys think, and we'll get back to you, each one of you. And we appreciate it. And it's just, this channel has taken off better than I ever thought it would have. To listen to me talk for 20 minutes, and I think it's a really cool thing that is happening, at least in my life, and hopefully you appreciate it too. But again, I appreciate everything, and we'll talk to you guys later, and we'll see you next time. Peace.